What has Ruben Amorim been saying? And no, I don't mean from last night's press conference. I mean after the press conference. I didn't see this until later on last night. Something that Ruben said regarding transfer targets that got every journalist talking last night. So we're going to go through all of that, what was said and what it means to Manchester United going into the summer transfer window. All of your other news around Manchester United in terms of other targets, and a couple of new names have jumped onto the list. An update from Alejandro Garnacho's side of things and what's happening, what Manchester United expect from Marcus Rashford. Big updates from Ben Jacobs on that side of things as well. We'll get through all of that. Obviously, tonight is the night. It's the huge game, Europa League semi-final, first leg in Bilbao. The excitement is already building. I think right now, as a United fan, I've just about come to terms that today is the day, and I'm starting to get myself all revved and ready to go. We'll have an action-packed day of content for you throughout the day leading up to the game, as well as a big build-up on YouTube and watch along later on as well. So make sure that you're tuned in for that. But first of all, to get you started with your day, all of your up-to-date news and where we're up to with the off-field action with Manchester United more than anything. We'll get through all of this news if you're watching later on. Of course, this is where all the section is for all of your news, so stay tuned in for this. Drop your comments in as well, everybody. If you're live, let me know. Get talking. Have a chat amongst yourselves about all of this, because I'm starting with Ruben Amorim's press conference. After it, he spoke to Portugal TV. So I didn't know that this had actually happened, but in it, he has really opened up on a situation regarding Manchester United's hunt for a striker this season. And I think most people were taken aback by what was said. So you read this with me and you tell me how you see this in terms of what Ruben said here and then what this means for Manchester United, because it's really, really interesting. Because when you look at the situation we've got right now, I think this is quite key. So here's what happened. Ruben Amorim was talking to Portuguese TV after his presser yesterday, and he gave this interview and this remark regarding the pursuit of Victor Gyökeres. So obviously, Victor Gyökeres playing in Portugal, the Portuguese media have gone with that. That's their angle in terms of what they wanted to get out of it, because obviously they want to know from the sporting side of things. And asked about the Gyökeres deal, and Ruben Amorim has replied by saying, Gyökeres deal, ? I didn't talk to him. But if a player only wants to come to Manchester United to play Champions League, then he will not come. We want players who want to represent Manchester United, not players who want to play certain competitions. Now that straightforward tells you that, right, okay, has he completely binned off the idea of Gyökeres coming to Manchester United? This, I think, is key and very interesting, because Gyökeres has made it very, very clear that he wants Champions League football next season. Now, obviously, there's a lot of Manchester United fans that'll read into that and say, well, of course, that's how Ruben should be approaching it, and that's what we want. We want Manchester United players. We don't want players that are just going to be here to use us to get themselves up on the biggest stage, as in Champions League, or playing the biggest competitions. Because Manchester United have won a certain competition this season, I'm going to wait to see what happens, see where they place, if I can be in a better competition or playing in amongst that competition next season. I think Ruben's response there to the journalist has been quite clear. Now, he says he's not spoken to Gyökeres, so I think what he's done there, personally, he's kind of covered himself a little bit, because if he's not spoken to him, then he can actually say, well, this is something that wasn't said. Gyökeres didn't say this. I don't know, because I've not spoken to him. So from his side, he might say, well, he's not said it to me, so that's why at the moment this deal could still be on. So if Man United get Champions League football next season, and Victor Gyökeres gives Ruben Amorim the indication that he wants to come to Manchester United and play for him, well, what's Ruben going to do? Say no? And we go for somebody else? Because you can throw this straight across here, and this is where it gets a little bit interesting, because aren't we supposedly all in on Liam Delap? And what has Liam Delap come out and said, or his representatives have said? If Manchester United are in Europe, we can sign Liam Delap, because Liam Delap wants European football. So let's go back to Ruben Amorim's quote. Gyökeres deal, I didn't talk to him, but if a player only wants to come to Manchester United to play Champions League, then he will not come. We want players that want to represent United, not players who want to play in a certain competition. Okay, if that goes for Gyökeres, does that not automatically, under Ruben Amorim's rule, go for Liam Delap as well? That's how I see it, because Liam Delap is waiting. And just on that, and where we're actually at with Liam Delap right now, Ben Jacobs came out with an update on this side of things. Liam Delap wants European football and is prepared to wait as long as possible to determine the standings of all the suitors before making a decision. That's come from an interview with Sean Coley on Theatre of Red and Ben Jacobs this week, in fact, yesterday. So, Liam Delap wants to wait and wants European football. So he won't come to Manchester United now, even though Manchester United have said that they want Liam Delap and are prepared to meet that release clause. They've already told Ipswich, and they've already made it clear that they want Delap. But Delap doesn't want to move yet because he wants to see who has got European football at the end of the season. Therefore, that goes into the category of what Ruben Amorim said he's not going to sign this summer, because he's not going to sign players that only want to come to United to play in certain competitions. I'm reading that right, aren't I? I'm not the only one seeing it this way. Kaz made the point last night as well, exactly the same as me. She said that that's Liam Delap gone then as well, isn't it? A few other people have noticed on social media have picked up on this as well. It's like, well, all of a sudden then, like, you can say that this is great in a way because he's standing his ground and you can bin off Liam Delap, you can bin off anybody who doesn't want to come to Manchester United. That's fantastic, but United still need players. And United still need to convince players to come to this football club. We're not in a position where we can say we want players that just want to be at Manchester United. If you do that, then the quality of player drops. This is what your recruitment team is for. This is what you have to deal with in the circumstances that you're in right now. Before, Manchester United wouldn't have even had to think on these lines. But the team and the club has changed. It's changed dramatically. And where I understand what Ruben Amorim is saying here, I think he needs to be very, very careful in how he approaches this. Because then all of a sudden, he's kind of sectioning off a certain category of player. Like, he's saying that Gyökeres and Delap won't come to Manchester United right now. This is a player that he hunted last summer for Sporting in Liam Delap. This is a player that he went out of his way for to get in Gyökeres from Coventry and take him to Sporting over in Portugal. All of a sudden, he isn't going to go for these players because they haven't actually said that they want to come and play for Manchester United. Not every player is going to be like Matheus Cunha and say he wants to come to Manchester United no matter what. The situation United are in really puts us in a more awkward spot when it comes to getting players in. We have to do that extra little bit of work. And the man at the top, Ruben Amorim, coming out and saying this, what's that going to make the other players that we're supposedly looking at think? And again, you can take it both ways. It's great and it's not, I think, because yes, this is what we want. We need to make sure that these players want to be at Manchester United. That is the ultimate. If that is the case, we go all in on that. No problem. Let's get the right players. But who can we get? Like, I'm not for just getting the best thing out there, because we've tried this before and it's not worked at United. So I'm happy with Ruben Amorim going down this line personally and saying we only want players that want to come to United. It doesn't matter what competition we're in. That's the player we're going to be hunting. Straight away, we've lost Delap and Gyökeres on that then for me because of that. And then we're going to have to find somebody else. So realistically, that pool of players then goes down a little bit, doesn't it? And the quality drops down. So this is now on Ruben. So if we're going to back Ruben, he is the one that's going to take the flak if we don't get a certain calibre of player, if this is the stance he's making. If this is going to impact our window, then we all have to judge Ruben next season on this in the players that he's brought in, if they're the right quality or not. Because if he isn't going to bend his rule a little bit, if he isn't going to compromise a tiny little bit because of where Manchester United are and how poor we have been, under him as well, and he has to take some of the responsibility, then next season, he is going to be the one right under, and he is going to be the one being judged by everybody on what he has done this transfer window because of what he said here. And this, I think, has really opened up a can of worms. So I'm going to come to the comment section in just a moment on this to get your thoughts on this. But just to clear what he actually said and where we're actually at in terms of what Manchester United are looking at this summer. After the press conference yesterday, Ruben Amorim said on Gyökeres being quizzed by Portuguese TV, the Gyökeres deal, I didn't speak to Victor Gyökeres, but if a player only wants to come to Manchester United to play Champions League football, then he will not come. We want players who represent United, not players who want to play certain competitions. So that says that Gyökeres, according to Ruben Amorim talking to Portuguese TV, is not going to come to Manchester United. Ben Jacobs later on last night said Liam Delap wants European football and is prepared to wait as long as possible to determine the standings of suitors and make his decision at the end of the season. Basically saying he wants to go to a club that's got European football. And again, falling under that, what Ruben just said, is a player that won't come to Manchester United. So is it the same for one and not for another? Or are we looking at this right now and saying, right, okay, Manchester United are not going to sign Delap and they're not going to sign Victor Gyökeres? Because that's what the manager said. Tell me I'm wrong in that and tell me your opinions on this, everybody. Please do get into the comments section and let me know how you see this. Am I the only one looking at it this way? Is what I want to know on this one right now. We have a super chat right in from the off from Manny who says, the Sporting Star is not Gyökeres. Ruben has one priority, the league title. If I'm right, Adam, you are buying the pints when I come over for my second Old Trafford experience next season. You just tell me when, Manny, and I've got you there, buddy. Don't you worry. I've got you there sorted, matey. Thanks for the super chat, my friend. Right, let's get into some more on these. Or Adam, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's finances. United might want Delap, Gyökeres, whoever, but can we do the deals? The players may want to come. Can we do the deals? It's media smoke screens. Look, you can only read off what he's said. You can only listen to what he's said, and I think he's covered himself a little bit here as well. Because he can always say, like I said at the top there, Ruben hasn't spoken to Victor Gyökeres. He says he's not. United have obviously contacted certain clubs. So he will always say, look, I haven't spoken to him. He's not said this to me. So this doesn't apply to Victor Gyökeres. He's covered himself a tiny little bit there with that. So he can always fall back on that. And you're right, it could be smokescreen. It could be him just playing. It could be him just playing, but he is very, very passionate and very open, and we know this about him. So can we say that this is him playing tricks and the way that he plays tricks? Or is this Ruben Amorim being really honest with everybody and we ain't going to get these players? You can look at it a few different ways, and I get it. Yeah, it could be just all a front and he could just be playing everybody right now, Ruben Amorim. We will see in time, obviously. Good players will get the European football. Entitled players want it handed to them. Gyökeres came from the Championship, having failed in the Premier League at Brighton, to Sporting and smashed it in the Champions League. I think he's earned the right to still be playing Champions League football, and obviously I expect some part of this to be there with players. I expect them to want certain things and feel like they need to be playing in a certain competition, especially if you're going into your late 20s. I don't get it with the Liam Delap situation. I think he's asking for too much, to be honest. I think his agent, I've said this all along, I think his agent has played an absolute blinder. And he is convinced he should be playing at a higher level right now. Look, he's had a good season. I'm not denying that. But for one good Premier League season, you cannot, and this is only here because Ipswich have been relegated, by the way, you cannot all of a sudden go out and say that you need Champions League or European football next season. That's a must. You're still in your early 20s after one good season. Gyökeres is a different animal. He's been there, done it. He's earned the right to be in the Champions League right now. Liam Delap hasn't got there yet. It's potential. And when potential starts to think that he should be higher than where he's actually at and what he's earned, that's where I start to get a little bit worried. And I've said all along I like Delap. I do. The price is right and he's worth that money for me. But then again, you're looking at characteristics, and Ruben's gone on about this all of the time. We need to make sure that we get the right players in at Manchester United. This, I don't know. And that's the question that we've got to ask, really. Are we certain that Liam Delap's got the right characteristics? I think on the pitch he has. He's got that nasty streak. He's got that little bit of dark arts about him. He'll run, he'll fight. He'll absolutely finish them chances that come his way. He's clinical. So yeah, that's all there. But again, pivotal and massive in terms of what Manchester United do this summer. And I think that's what we're up against right now. Glenn with a super chat, thank you mate, says, if players don't care about Europe, it's likely they only coming for the money. So if we don't offer one or the other, we only recruiting United fans. But then again, Cunha is an absolute quality signing. On Matheus Cunha, by the way, and the updates on this situation as it stands with Cunha is Manchester United are not waiting for outgoings or whether they are successful for Liam Delap. They want Cunha over the line as soon as possible. That's just reiterated from what we already know. Matheus Cunha's entourage and Manchester United have been holding meetings via Zoom. The agent of Cunha will likely fly to England. That should indicate a deal is very close. This all from Ben Jacobs, by the way, and Sean Connolly. Another key meeting between Cunha's entourage and Manchester United will happen this week. Manchester United will try and verbally agree terms with Matheus Cunha and then proceed with the offer to Wolves. So yes, in terms of Matheus Cunha, it is thought that this deal is already done in terms of him coming to United, just finalising the minor details. Obviously, he loves United, but he would want to be successful at Manchester United, I'm guessing. And there will be clauses, bonuses, everything like this all being negotiated in. Good that it's being done and done early for me. Like, we've still got another 4 weeks left of the season, and this is at the stage now where we're agreeing personal terms. Then we can deal with Wolves. When that window opens, United will get Matheus Cunha signed, sealed and delivered. But off the back of that, they're bringing up the Delap story in this interview by saying that obviously Matheus Cunha is done. United have the finances in place to make this deal happen. Liam Delap doesn't come into Matheus Cunha at all. They don't need to sell. They don't need to move things around. It's ready to go. So confidence is there within Manchester United, like we've known all along from what Romano and Ornstein has said. Ben Jacobs backing this up. This week has been a full week of meetings with Manchester United and Cunha, and it looks like this deal is getting ever closer. There's no real panic or drama about this. Cunha has committed himself to United, and we're taking our time making sure this deal is done. We can't do anything for another 4 weeks anyway when the window opens. So I look at this as a massive positive again, like I've said before. I'm not worried about Cunha right now, unless something absolutely drastic happens over this next few days of negotiations on his personal terms. This deal will get done, because it's quite clear that United are already prepared to make the payments to Wolves in instalments, which Romano has said is not going to be a problem either. So, yeah, looking great with that. But the bigger story is the striker and what happens and what Ruben said there. Let's get a few more comments on this as well from everybody. And we have got another quote coming. So, another quote. We've got another poll running right now. Do you agree with Amorim's stance in terms of a player signing? Does he have to want to come to United and not just be at a club for certain competitions or play in certain competitions? 84% of you at the moment on this vote have said yes, you agree. Keep voting on that. We'll run that through the rest of the show. The structure should be talking transfers, not the coach. Morning, peeps. Hello to you as well, Corinthians. In terms of the structure, yeah, but Ruben is the only one who's ever going to talk. So we have to expect Ruben to say certain things. You're not going to get Jason Wilcox coming out or Christopher Vivel or Omar Barada coming out and talking transfers. That just doesn't happen in football. And some people would say, let's do the talk, let's do the walking instead of the talking, to be honest. Action over words is what a lot of people would say. That's basically what I said yesterday. Why would he come when we might be in the Champions League for 1 year and then... Oh, lost that then. Sorry, mate. You've gone off my screen, Carl. I don't know why. I've totally lost your comment there, buddy. It's jumped off my screen, mate. I do apologise. But no, it's like... I know what you're saying there, Carl, as well on that one. Yeah, why would he come to Manchester United if we're going to be out of the Champions League? No, it's not that. He wants to be playing in the Champions League. And obviously, he's confident enough that he has got the ability to help Manchester United stay in it. Otherwise, he wouldn't come. So you can't look into the future. You would look at what Manchester United are doing recruitment-wise and go, right, we've already bought Matheus Cunha. And I've said this all along. Cunha is the key to our summer. Cunha signing is the one that could be the catalyst for other players coming in and going, well, he's signing. He could have gone anywhere, but he's gone United. And that does go a long way. It really does. So I think he'll be looking at what Man United are doing recruitment-wise and then making a decision on that. He will look at this and go, well, Man United might have just picked up the Europa League off the back of winning the FA Cup, off the back of winning the League Cup. I could be going and winning trophies at Manchester United. I don't think that comes into it. No player will look at the future and go, oh, I can't go to United because after this season we're not going to be in the Champions League. You're expected to go to a club and actually do well and perform and feel confident in making that move that way. If you're going for one season, you're committing for 5 because you're signing that contract. So, yeah, I don't think that comes into it. Manny, another super chat. Cheers, bud. Says, give me the striker that says, I want to get United back to 21 titles over the striker that wants to play in the Champions League. I get it. I think that is what Ruben's talking about. And that all comes into them characteristics that Ruben has been talking about as well, doesn't it? In terms of what he wants from a player and what United are recruiting. Let's see. Amorim has been in charge of 35 games and has shown absolutely nothing to show me he will succeed. We have got worse in every aspect. Amorim has to be sacked. Kind of completely wrong on that there, because he's unbeaten in Europe, and without him coming in, we might not have even qualified, going off what Erik Ten Hag was doing. Ten Hag left us in 13th in the league. We are 14th now. Still, it's not moved. So if anything, the league form is staying exactly the same. I'm looking at this on paper. And we've got better in Europe. So, yeah. I don't think you can say we've got absolutely worse and needs to be sacked at all. We need to give Ruben Amorim his players, and let's see what he does in a transfer window before we judge him. I think that's fair. And I've said this all along. I don't think anybody's right that thinks he should be sacked. I'm worried for him. I am worried for him. And I've said this, like, if United are not competing in the first 10 games of the season, in and around top 6 mark, then we're in a spot of trouble. We really are. So let's just see what happens from here. Again, David going in on Amorim there in the chat. Give it a chance, mate. Give it a chance. Who would you rather bring in? There's no one else there, mate. There's definitely no one who could got anything more out of these players, I don't think, because these players are not good enough. And that's what we're looking at right now. The likes of Rashford, Antony, we all wanted them out. They would have been still here if Ten Hag was still here. And we know they would have. So we know the issue for Manchester United has been certain players, then players have gone. Let's see what he can do and build in the summer, and then we go on from there, I think. In other news as well, don't forget all of the content today. Like I said at the top of the show, we are jam-packed with loads of different build-up. We're going to be doing the warm-up show around about midday. There is going to be another show leading up to the watch-along as well, where we will then transfer across to the watch-along from that. So 2 more live shows today before the kickoff. So around about 1 o'clock today, we're going to go live with the warm-up show, and then we're going to be going live as well before kickoff here on YouTube, leading into the big up watch along as well later on. So that's all going to kick off probably around about the 7 o'clock mark later on this evening, and around 1 o'clock today as well. So yes, there are your times: 1 o'clock live, 7 o'clock live. Jam-packed day, and obviously we'll be live after the game as well on YouTube with our reaction to hopefully Manchester United winning, and that's what we want as well. In the live chat right now, we have our pinned up comment, which is regarding our match day sponsor, Match Bingo. Get involved in Match Bingo, everybody. It's like bringing Bingo Hall to the match day. You get 15 events on your bingo card. If you get 5 in a row, you win 25 quid. Get another line, you get another 25 quid. And then the jackpot of 200 could be yours if you get all matching 15 match events. And they are throw-ins, corners, goals with left foot, hitting the crossbar. Anything that can happen in a game on a bingo card. 5 in a row, you get money. Another 5, more money. A jackpot of all 15, 200 quid. Like Silverback, who is one of our members, won against Bournemouth when we played Bournemouth the other day. It was a brilliant day. Good to see plenty of winners on FUTV as well. Get on to Match Bingo live. We're going to be doing our cards later on for the game as well, so make sure you get involved in that later on, everybody. But the link is right there in the live chat, people. So get onto that or scan the QR code on the screen right now to be involved and be in with a chance of winning, like many others did on Sunday. It was great. Anyway, that cheered us up in that game. We have got other news to get through right now, and I haven't got loads of time. So let's get on with everything that is actually happening right now. Manchester United are seriously interested in Jonathan Tah as a free agent from Bayer Leverkusen this summer. Another centre-back. I don't care. Really, I'm not bothered about Jonathan Tah at all. I think we've got enough players there at Manchester United at centre-back right now. I just don't want Manchester United to be going out, and I'm not saying it's a waste of time. It's a free transfer, obviously. If it's not going to cost United a lot in wages, then maybe it's a good move to make. But it really doesn't excite me, I think, is what I'm saying. But I'm just bringing the news on what's been said, and I think that realistically is where Manchester United are at right now. If you're going to bring in a centre-back, it's going to have to be really, really, really cheap for United and worth it for that to happen. So I'm not too sure on that one. Ben Jacobs has also been talking about the move for Alejandro Garnacho. The move is still open. As you can see going across the bottom of your screen there, they want 75 million euros for him still. I don't think that is the price, to be honest. I think there is a few different prices gone around, but price aside on Garnacho, I think, again, the fact that we are talking more and more about Garnacho right now and more journalists are coming out with this is that United are open to selling him. Obviously, Napoli are still very, very interested on this. Ben Jacobs says that Chelsea are still holding an interest on Garnacho as well. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see how Manchester United approach Garnacho in the summer if anybody comes in. Are Napoli going to come in again? We've heard stories about Conte wanting Garnacho and him being his top target and expecting him in Napoli's side next season. Look, if Conte goes and wins the Scudetto and gets that Serie A title and he asks that board for another player to go make a real challenge at maybe even the Champions League next season and defend that title in Serie A, then they're going to have to back him. He has managed to do this without Kvaratskhelia as well, and that is a miracle in losing a player like that. Yes, Inter Milan have actually dropped off in Serie A and are looking like they're going to hand the title to Napoli at the moment, in a good position right now. So let's just see exactly what happens with Napoli in the summer and Garnacho. It is said that Conte wants him. It's going to be interesting to see what bid they come in with, though. If it comes in at around 50 million quid, I think Garnacho is gone. I think 45 to 50 million gets Garnacho out the door. And Manchester United, really, right now, you've got to be looking at this and saying, right, okay, let Garnacho go if it is going to prosper Manchester United in the transfer window going forward. And that, I think, is where our stance is on Garnacho. And I think what you've got to say with this is... 1 second, sorry everybody, just checking up on something else that just pops up on my screen right now just to make sure. Yep, it's the same story again. Sorry about this, everyone. Just had to sort something else out as well. Right, so yeah, on the Garnacho one, pretty much said everything that needs to be said there on that. I think Manchester United's stance will be that if the right bid comes in, he's gone. I've said this all along, and I think he will be the one that loses out, especially with Cunha coming in as well. Because if United do, like Ruben said, go out and get, or apparently what Ruben said in terms of his targets, go out and get an 8, that will effectively push Bruno Fernandes back in at 10. And you've got, like I've said before, an abundance. You've got Mount, you've got Ahmad, you've got Bruno, you've got Cunha. Garnacho's just not going to play. And I think he will be sold. Manny with the super chat says, we have to move him on while he's worth something, as in Garnacho. And Glenn says, I know we had 350 grand to go with it, but I like Casemiro's attitude when he said, don't worry, I'll come to fix it. Yeah, I mean, one more year for Casemiro as well. That's a decision that needs to be made by Manchester United. And I think what we're looking at here is now, again, Casemiro, Garnacho, players like that. I don't think Ruben Amorim has got an issue keeping them. I think Ruben Amorim, though, if there is a target out there that he wants and the recruitment team say we haven't got the money for him, we have to let somebody go, then I think he's going to speak to that to the recruitment team and say, right, how much do we need? What are our bottom lines for players like Casemiro, like Garnacho? What can we sell them for that gives us money to go out and buy these other players? That, I think, is where Manchester United are at right now. I know where Ruben's at, but I still believe that Manchester United will go out and buy 3 forwards and a number 8 this summer if Manchester United get into the Champions League. If we don't, I think you're more than likely going to see the likes of Casemiro and Garnacho be sold straight out. That's how I see it developing. We have got room if Champions League football is there, because it does cover a lot for us. It does cover a lot financially for Manchester United. Centre-backs for next season, Delict, Joro, Maguire, Heaven and Mazraoui, Fredrickson, maybe Martinez. I don't know. I think it would be a good idea to get a free transfer in, but we should be okay. I do think we should be okay. I'm pretty confident on the centre-back situation right now for Manchester United. Another player that Manchester United are apparently looking at with interest is Amadou Kone, currently playing at Stade Reims in France. He is a young 19-year-old defensive midfielder. Again, like, I don't see Manchester United. It's funny how we've got Sekou Kone coming through, similar age, 18, going on 19, and we've got a player here in Amadou Kone that Manchester United are looking at. Another Ivory Coast player who has just broke onto the scene in France. Apparently, Manchester United are interested in him. They're looking at he's looking possibly, and what the rumour is, around about the 15-20 million mark. I don't think that type of player. I don't think Manchester United are going to spend that type of money. I don't know. The story could be there. United could be looking at him, but I don't see players like this being on Manchester United's radar for that price. It just doesn't make sense. I'm only reading it out because the story is actually there, but I don't think so. I really don't. By the way, the medical yesterday that we were talking about, when I said on Tuesday there is a medical booked for Wednesday, that was for Canabiec. So that Enzo Canabiec is having a medical now at Carrington. He is going to be signed by Manchester United. And what we're saying now is, obviously, we're seeing all of the younger players coming. And when players like this Amadou Kone come on the scene, a 19-year-old again, I don't think Manchester United, and the rumour of them coming into Manchester United is there because of what we're doing behind the scene with like Canabiec. Like these younger players, these teenagers, we're bringing in them sorts of players at cheap, free prices like we have been doing. I don't see us going out and spending this amount of money on a player that's only had one season and not at the highest level. And it's not, I don't think, a realistic look for Manchester United at all. I just wanted to get that one in there as well to cover that, everyone. But yeah, that pretty much covers our show this morning. Quick fire show. We'll be back later with 2 more live shows to cover all of the other news as well leading up to the game. That is your up-to-date transfer information from Manchester United on match day. From here now, we look towards Bilbao and the game tonight. It's going to be an absolutely huge one for Manchester United. It really is. So I'm going to leave you with all of that. Please do drop your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think on all of these stories, whether you can see any of them happen. Delap and Gyökeres, top of the show today. Get your comments in on that, and we'll be looking into that and talking about it maybe a little bit later on off your comments that you drop in. Thank you for all the likes, everybody. If you've loved the content, pop a like on the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, and I'll see you all at 1 o'clock with the warm-up and the build-up to what is going to be a massive, massive night for Manchester United. But that is it for now, everybody. Thank you so much, mods, members, mods particularly in the chat for helping out again. I'll see you all later on, everybody. Have a good day. Try not to get too nervous. Well, we're in it.